It is so wonderful to be able to be in this building, to see all of you. In the clergy offices, we had an over-under, and I want it to be known that I had faith in the TBE community. I win. I predicted that more people would show than anybody else, and here you are. You're all here. And so I'm really grateful for that. Let us bring in Shabbat together with some joy, with some singing. We're joined by Cantor Rosenberg, and let's just sing. Let's join together.
Lai 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 La 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 la. Boy, it is amazing to have your voices fill up this room with mine. La 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 la. La 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 la.
So in a moment, we'll be joined by all those folks on Zoom who decided to go away and were stuck in traffic most of the day today. But I'm really grateful to have all of you here, to be able to bring all of our voices in together. Something that I love about Shabbat is when we just get to lift up our voices, join together, recognize the people that are in the room, recognize the people who maybe we're holding in our hearts, people who are missing, and try and do some connecting with all of them as well. So let's do a little bit more connecting, a little bit more singing together. We'll join together in a nigun, just a wordless melody, and that's intentional to allow you to fit yourself into it. Whatever words are on your heart, whatever words you are thinking about, we can put them into this nigun and sing out.
And in the same way, filling yourself with this any way you want. I might go lai la lai, I might go yum ba bum. Sometimes it just comes, and I invite you yai da dai, and I invite you to fit whatever syllable you want in this moment with me. Lai la 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 la. Lai ha de dai ai dai 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 ai de de dai ai dai dai ai dai ya da dai ai dai ai de de dai 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 ai de de dai 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 ai de de dai 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 ai dai ya da dai ai dai ai de de dai 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 ai de de dai 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 ai de de dai 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 ai dai ya da dai ai dai ai de de dai 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 ai de de dai 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 ai de de dai 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 ai dai ya da dai 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 ai de de dai 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 ai de de dai 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 ai de de dai 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 ai dai ya da dai ai dai ai de de dai 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 ai de de dai 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 ai de de dai 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 ai dai ya da dai ai dai ai de de dai 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 ai de de dai 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 ai de de dai 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 ai dai ya da dai ai dai ai de de dai 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 ai de de dai 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 ai de de dai 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 ai dai ya da dai dai dai.
Good Shabbos. Thank you,
Shabbos,
Josh.
Shabbat shalom.
Thank you, Ryan. We're just laughing because it's a beautiful and small, it's an intimate community gathering here in our sanctuary tonight, and we're so happy to be joined on Zoom by the rest of our community this July 4th evening. And it turns out that without us knowing, Ryan and I have asked the same two people to help us kindle the lights of Shabbat. So will Andy and Nan Langowitz come forth and actually light this beautiful set of Shabbos candles that I know is a gift in memory of your father. So let's join together. They'll light candles here, and if you're at home with your Shabbat candlesticks, please bring them forth in front of your computer so that we can spotlight you as well.
C minor. Yeah.
Rachata Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. I need to have you back on the bima with me. It's beautiful singing voice. Shabbat shalom. And
We'll join together on page 142 to bring in some Shabbat angels into our midst. We'll join together with Shalom Aleichem.
we're together on, you said 142? We're perfect. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Enter in peace. Boachem leshalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
Rachuni, bless me with peace.
Baruchuni leshalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
Seidchem, let us go out in peace.
Seidchem leshalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
On page 100.
We turn back just a few pages
Page 130.
so that we might join together in this rejoicing. Come, let us sing joyously to Adonai, Lechu Neranena. Let's join and fill this room with our voices. Lechu Neranena. Karma fana bitoda bizmirot narialo Nine, 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 nine. and deliverer. Nikad mafanav bitodah bizmirot narialo hay lay 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 lay
Our Shabbat angels. We've brought in our own voices. Now it's time to bring in the Sabbath bride. Let's join together. Page 138 for Lecha Dodi.
Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad Hishmi'anu el ha'miuchad Adonai echad u'shemo L'shem ultiferet velitila lecha dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat nekabela lecha dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat nekabela likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha ki hi mekor haberacha merosh mikedem nesucha sof maaseh b'machshava tchila lecha dodi likrat kala
As we welcome our Sabbath bride.
Boi v'shalom ateret bala gam b'simcha u'v'tzola toch emunei Pnei Shabbat, Pnei Shabbat, Nikabela.
We remain standing, page 146, as we answer our call to prayer. Tabaruchu.
La 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 Baruchu et Adonai HaMevorach.
We respond together. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed, le'olam va'ed. La 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 la
On page 152, we join together for the Shema, pulling together all four corners of the world, all different parts of ourselves, thinking about the oneness of ourselves, our community, and our world. We join together.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed.
Page 154. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha bechol levavcha uvechol nafshecha uvechol me'odecha ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha Vishinantam levanecha vidibarta bam b'shivtecha b'veitecha uvlechtecha vaderech uvshochbecha uvkumecha ukshartam leot al yadecha v'hayu letotafot bein einecha uchtavtam al mezuzot beitecha ubisharecha leman tizkeru va'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'tem kedoshim le'elohechem ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim Liot lachem le'Elohim Ani Adonai Elohechem Adonai Elohechem Emet.
I'm thinking of these words of Micha Mocha, the words that are historically referenced as the words that led us to freedom, to the other side of a scary journey, led by a woman, dancing and singing. So I hope we lean into our liturgy a little bit tonight, hopeful, but ready to dig in and take that first step forward to a promised land. Mi chamocha
Ba'elim Adonai mi kamocha, Nedar b'kodesh, Nora tehilot, Oseh feleh. Mi chamocha, Ba'elim Adonai mi kamocha, Nedar b'kodesh, Nora tehilot, Oseh feleh. Who is like you? Who is like you? Who is like you? Adonai. Who is like you? Who is like you? Who is like you? Adonai. Malchutecha ra'u vanecha bokei hayam lifnei Moshe uMiriam ze Eli anu ve'ameru Adonai imloch le'olam va'ed. Who is like you? Adonai. Who is like you? Who is like you? Who is like you? Adonai.
I feel a little bit more free. Thank you, Cantor. On page 160. On Shabbat, we ask for God to provide us with a shelter of peace, a sukkot shalom. I'm certainly thinking about all of those who are in need of this kind of shelter at this moment. And so we'll hold that as we join together with these sacred words that ask us to have shelter of peace over us and the whole world.
Hashivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom V'hamidenu shomreinu l'chaim Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom V'hamidenu shomreinu l'chaim. Spread the shelter of your peace over us. Guide us in your wisdom, compassion, and trust. Ashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu l'shalom, V'hamidenu shomreinu l'chaim.
Shabbat, we have the opportunity to look back on our week and to think about all the things that happened that we are grateful for, little sparks of light that came up for us over the course of this week. And as we reflect, we can collect those little sparks of light and gather them together into a bright flame offering us warmth and light to lead us ahead into these hours of Shabbat. So as we turn to page 164, we rise as we're able for the tefillah. We hold on to and check in with ourselves on these moments of gratitude, these moments of light in our week.
Adonai, Sefatai Tiftach, Ufi Agid Tehilatecha, Adonai, Sefatai Tiftach, Ufi Agid Tehilatecha, open up our lips so we may praise your name. Open up our hearts so we may feel our pain. Open up our souls to let our love make us whole, and we may praise
We may praise
your name, Adonai, Sefatai Tiftach, Ufi Agid Tehilatecha, Adonai, Sefatai Tiftach, Ufi Agid Tehilatecha.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, v'Elohei Leah. Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'Konei HaKol, V'Zocher Chasdei Avot v'Imahot, U'Mevi Geula Livnei V'neihem, Le'ma'an Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshia U'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham ve'ezrat Sarah. Atah Gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechayeh hakol atah Rab le'Hoshia, Morid hatal. Mechalkel chayim bechesed, Mechayeh hakol berachamim rabim, Somech noflim ve'rofeh cholim, Umatzir asurim, Umekayem emunato lishenei afar. Mi chamocha ba'al gevurot, Umido melach, melech memit, Umechayeh, Umatzmiach Yeshua, V'ne'eman atah lahachayot hakol. Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayeh hakol. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, Ukdoshim b'chol yom yehallelucha Selah. Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh.
Continue with the words written on these pages or the words written on the inside of your own heart. To all of these petitions, we add on this Canada Day and July 4th weekend a prayer for our country. Every inch of America is sacred, from sea to shining sea. There is much to be done in our time, the sort of hard work on which God smiles, because it is done for the sake of the dignity and well-being of all of God's creations. Together, let us work to preserve and make manifest the values upon which our democracy was founded. The task of all people of faith is to call governing authorities to fulfill God's purpose of bringing about justice, mercy, and peace. Individually and as a nation, may we heed our obligations to each other as we navigate the tensions of building a just society. Rather than a politics of divisiveness, may we move our country towards a politics of empathy. May we use our power well, so we do great things for all of God's creatures, all those made in God's image who yearn for an equal place at America's table. If we do all this, may grace and peace be ours in abundance. May we be a beacon and a blessing to the world. Together we can say, Amen. We thank the American Values Religious Voices letters compiled from scholars and leaders of religion all over the country who've created this prayer together. And so we add our own words from our tradition of peace, peace for each of us, peace for across our nation, peace throughout our world. Oseh Shalom.
Oseh Shalom bimroma, hu yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel. America, America, God shed God's grace on thee and crown thy good with peoplehood from sea to shining sea.
Continue our prayers for shalom, for shleimut, of wholeness, for those in our community who are in need of an extra measure of wholeness and healing this Shabbat. If there is someone you are thinking of who could use a refuah shlema, a speedy healing, we invite you here in the sanctuary if you'd like to rise so that we may come and hear their name. On Zoom, if you'd like to write their name in the chat, that we may hold all of their prayers together as we pray together in community. Join together, Mishaberach, page 371.
Mishaberach avoteinu mekor habracha leimotenu. May the source of strength bless the ones before us. Help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Bisheberach imotenu mekor habracha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
We also gather in community in moments of celebration and joy. So if there's anyone here in the room who has a Shehechianu moment, a God-given milestone that they have reached, something special in this week, we'd love to hear and celebrate with you. Perhaps birthdays in the room, your birthdays around July 4th. Maybe on Zoom, perhaps you can wave. Birthdays back here? Oh, Mazal Tov. 10th anniversary, beautiful. Other anniversaries this weekend in the room, maybe on Zoom. Again, Zoom, you can use the chat box so we can all celebrate together. Any other moments? That look like a hand, sorry. Any other moments we can celebrate? For all of these things, for making it to another week, we join together in Shehechianu.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, shehechianu v'kimanu v'hegianu l'hazman hazeh. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, melech haolam, shehechianu v'kimanu v'hegianu l'hazman hazeh. We say Amen.
So how many times have you either sent or received an email that started like this? I hope you're doing well given the state of the world. Or I hope you're doing well despite insert tragedy of the day here. This is the reality of living in our times, I guess. In truth, the reality of being a human being right now has meant keeping up with a news cycle that moves at a rampant pace, seemingly never stopping. It's not uncommon to read a profoundly tragic and heartbreaking headline that stops us in our tracks and forces us to reconcile with a profoundly flawed part of our society. Perhaps we are so taken aback that we don't know how to move forward, given the state of the world. Yet, even if we are not ready to move forward, the news is already covering another story. Moving on to the next Supreme Court decision, the next mass shooting, the next racially charged attack, the next election, the next wave of COVID, the next rally, and on and on and on. There's no time to process, evaluate, discuss, or even heal from what is being shared with us. In this week's Torah portion, Korach and his two sons start a large rebellion against two of the most prominent personalities in the Hebrew Bible, Moses and Aaron. Korach challenges their leadership, proclaiming this: all of the community are holy, every single one of them, and the Lord is in their midst. So then why do you raise yourself above the congregation? You see, Korach is upset because there seems to be some favoritism regarding who can perform the ritual sacrifices, and doubt as to whether God was even speaking to Moses or Aaron. After Korach and his band of followers rebel against Moses' leadership, Moses and God set up a miraculous event to prove to the rebels and to the Israelites that God is indeed with Moses, and that Moses is the legitimate leader of the Israelites. The entire community gathers around and watches in amazement and disbelief as God splits open the ground beneath Korach and Korach's sons and all of the dissenting households, and the earth swallows them up, and they descend alive to the shadowy underworld, and the earth closes over them. With this miracle, the rebellion's leaders vanish, and Moses and Aaron and God remain victorious. So here, God and Moses, it seems they try to simplify a complicated situation. There was an unwanted rebellion, so God and Moses opened up a hole in the earth and removed the problem with the Israelites as their witness. They then cover up the hole as if nothing had ever happened. Sforno, an Italian commentator, emphasizes that this event that could be like an earthquake was unlike an earthquake, in which the ground does not close again. The rift, the trauma, leaves a visible scar on the earth's surface, and in this case, the land looked as if nothing had happened. And this earth-shattering display of divine power fails to inspire the unshakable trust and confidence that Moses and God might have hoped for. Because just a few short verses later, I think like 8 verses or something like that, verses after God swallows up the rebellion, the Israelites remain as doubtful and as rebellious as they had ever been. Nechama Leibowitz, who's a Bible scholar, states that after splitting the earth, everything returned to the previous order. The fire disappeared, the earth closed its mouth, and the people reverted to their grumbles and their lack of faith. So in the end, it doesn't really matter whether Korach's rebellion was well-intended or maliciously conceived, and it certainly doesn't matter what we think about Korach's cause. Something disruptive and challenging happened in the community. And the leaders, God and Moses and Aaron, covered it up, literally covered it up, and told the people to have faith in God's abilities and then move on. By trying to quickly fix a problem, God and Moses' plan backfired. The process laid out by God and Moses doesn't deal with the issue at hand. It provides a quick fix solution for a problem that needed more attention and care. There are bigger questions, bigger problems that needed to be addressed. Perhaps a better pathway would have been to listen to the complaints, to sit with the pain and the frustration of those who were rebellious, and try to understand their hopes and their desires just a little bit better. Now, I want to be very clear that this is not the easy path. Sweeping things under the rug, to use a different metaphor, in the short term may seem like a really rational option and certainly the easier thing to do. However, if we are committed to long-term personal and societal change and building meaningful communities together, we can't just bury our problems. We must face them head on. This process feels pretty challenging and honestly devastating, given the events of the last 2 weeks. Another wave of mass shootings in Uvalde, Texas, and Buffalo, New York, and the decision by the Supreme Court to protect the right to carry a gun outside of the home instead of working to restrict and limit gun laws in this country. The reversal of Roe v. Wade that further restricts the fundamental right of a woman to decide what to do with her body. And the heartbreaking news out of San Antonio this week that 53 bodies were found dead in a truck. Each one of these souls was trying to seek asylum in the land of the free and create a better life for their families. You see, in a short period of time, we are forced to deal with a bombardment of tragedies all at once. A hole opens, and very quickly, we may feel like we have to cover it up in order to move on to the next hole, because there's always another hole. So in the wake of disruptive and disheartening events in society, some will say that we can't be disheartened all the time, that we still have to live our lives to celebrate the joyous parts of our world. There are joys in our world. A child's birthday party, a wedding milestone, the first signs of summer, a cone of ice cream. We need to find moments that allow us to enjoy the blessings of our lives and the beauty of our world. Just cover up the pit as quickly as possible. Move on from the painful parts of our planet and just focus on what makes us happy. We as a society have been taught that we need to find a solution as quickly as possible to our problems, to our own personal and societal pits, so that we can keep calm and carry on. But as some of you may know, that's not the best way to build community, and it's not the best way to deal with heavy and traumatic parts of our lives. This doesn't work for us now, and as we see, it didn't work in the times of the Torah. So then how do we move forward? When there are seemingly an infinite number of pits in which we could fall, when the world we live in is constantly falling apart, how do we continue to live without being totally and completely overwhelmed? We don't cover up the hole. We acknowledge it, and we work to understand it. Rebbe Nachman of Breslov, a Hasidic master, teaches about the experience of being in a pit, a dark void in which a person will find themselves at some point in their life. There's a lot of darkness when one is in the confines of a pit. And yet within the hole, there are these little pieces, these little husks of light that one can grab onto in order to find your way out. So from the pain and the suffering of our world, if we process it and we understand it, we may be able to work to provide healing and illuminate the slivers of light that live inside the pit that ultimately helps us out of darkness. This teaching reminds us that it is imperative to acknowledge fear, acknowledge disappointment, and acknowledge heartbreak, and acknowledge suffering, but to not let them overwhelm us. From the darkest places, there is always hope and light when we allow ourselves to be changed by the pit in front of us. There are gaping holes in our society, holes that can sometimes feel overwhelming and devastating. And from the darkness of these holes, there are these little sparks of light that help us to guide our way, that remind us of the little joys of our lives that we should be grateful for, and that remind us that when we acknowledge the pain, the fragility, and the fear in our world, we can move forward with purpose, with blessing, and find our way to healing. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. May I be empty and open to receive the light. May I be empty and open to receive. May I be full and open to receive the light. May I be full and open to receive. May I be empty and open to receive the light. May I be empty and open to receive. May I be full and open to receive the light. May I be full and open to receive. May I be empty. May I be empty and open to receive the light. May I be empty and open to receive. May I be full. May I be full and open to receive the light. May I be full and open to receive. May I be empty. May I be empty and open to receive the light. May I be empty
and open to receive. May I be full.
May I be full
And open to receive the light. May I be full and open to receive. May I be empty and open to receive the light. May I be empty and open to receive. May I be full and open to receive the light. May I be full and open to receive.
It's at this time that we're actually going to split back into our in-person and to our Zoom rooms, but I just want to say it's really a treat to have these summer Shabbatot, where things are a little bit more laid back. We wear some more comfortable clothing, the decorum's a little different, we can play around, and we can just really lean into what it means to rest and to observe and to protect Shabbat. So I just want to say I'm really glad to be able to be in this space with you, and it's really fun when the people from behind the screens come from out from behind the screens to share their gorgeous voices and harmonizing skills with our community. So I feel full, and I have received your light. So thanks to Max and Maddie and to Vanessa to also lending their voices to this tonight's anthem. So thank you.
Indeed. Shall we Aleinu?
We shall Aleinu.
Let us Aleinu. So we return to
guitar?
our
Guitar.
Sidurim to page 586. We rise as we are able for Aleinu, remembering what is our destiny, what are our obligations, we who gather together.
Aleinu l'shabeach ladon hakol, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו, ושמו, ושמו אחד.
You may be seated. We turn at this time to marking memory, to Mourner's Kaddish. Is there anyone in the community today who is remembering a loved one, whether you're in a period of Shiva, Shloshim, Shana, or remembering a yahrzeit? Who are you remembering today?
My mother gave bones, and in 1969 she was president of the sisterhood at this temple.
May your memory be a blessing.
My longtime good friend Bill Kennedy.
May his memory be a blessing. May your memory be a blessing. May your memory be a blessing. Tonight we are also thinking of members of our community recently passed away. Jack Price, husband of Elise Price, recently passed away. He's not yet interred. The funeral will be here on Tuesday morning, 10 a.m. So we gather, we rise in support of the mourners as together we turn to page 598 for the words of Mourner's Kaddish, these words of memory. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shmei Rabbah, ba'alma divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon uvyomechon uvchaye d'chol beit Yisrael, ba'agala uvizman kariv v'imru, Amen. Yehi Shmei Rabbah Mevarach Le'olam Olamei Almaya. Yitzbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yithaleh v'yithalal Shmei Dekudasha Brichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbachata v'nechamata. Da'amiran be'alma v'imru Amen. Yehi Shlama Rabba min Shemaya. V'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru Amen. Oseh shalom bimromav. Hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru Amen.
Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael.
Just one major announcement for this week. Summer Institute Session 2 begins on Tuesday, July 12th. So come and continue to learn with us. Our programs are all on Zoom, accessible for wherever you might find yourself over the course of the summer. So we hope you'll join us in all the great learning that is happening. It's quieter in the summer, but there's still things going on. So check your e-blast, check the website, all that good stuff. So shall we conclude with some Kiddush and Motzi, celebrate together?
Betach. Let's
All
do
right.
it. Let's do it.
Page 123 for those following along.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu zikaron lema'aseh v'reishit כי הוא יום תחילה למקראי קודש, זכר ליציאת מצרים. כי בנו בחרת, ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים, ושבת קודשך, ואהבה וברצון הנחלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת. לחיים. I don't like the grape juice. I prefer wine.
For the grape juice?
Oh, well, we'll switch next time.
Yeah. But you know what I prefer even more?
The bread. Gam ani.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz b'te'avon. All right. Ooh, that's so loud. Okay.
Rabbi, take that bite for the rest of us. Shabbat shalom. Yai lai 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 yai lai 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 yai lai 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 yai lai yai lai 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 yai lai 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 hai lai 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 yai lai 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 Good job.